Hello, everybody. This is Greg29407 back with another episode of City of Heroes. We're here with a new character of mine. He's been around for a couple of weeks now, but it's the first time I've had him on the video. His name is Jupiter Joe, and he is a Sentinel. It's the first time I've ever played a Sentinel. It's a new archetype for me. You can see he's very Art Deco type, very 1930s Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers kind of guy with his little jetpack and that kind of thing. And I can't really tell he's got like a little helmet on. I put a glowing head thing so you can see the helmet a little bit better. But just kind of a Flash Gordon kind of guy is what I was kind of going for here. But anyway, so the Sentinels are completely unique to the rest of the game. We never had this when I was playing live. And they are kind of a combination of a blaster and a scrapper, but then people say, no, it's more like a corruptor and a scrapper. But it's a combination where you can do some ranged attacks, but also have some defenses and or resistances. And I've seen a lot of other players playing these things. I said, well, I'm going to try one myself. So I have a beam rifle super reflexes character here. And I went with super reflexes because it's something I don't have any of my other characters using right now. I've used it in the past, though. And beam rifle because it seemed like it would be kind of fun. And when I actually pull the rifle out, he's got this goofy looking 1930s style, old timey looking thing too. That looks like something a Buster Crabbe would have in Flash Gordon. So this is why I got it. This has been a really fun character. I'm at level 26 right now, and I've really had a lot of enjoyment from this character so far. He's really been a lot of fun. What I want to do though today is go over some of his basic power sets and see what we've got and what I'm planning on doing with him. And we'll take him out and do a few radio missions or something as well. So again, the primary is going to be attacks, generally ranged attacks, and then the secondary is going to be more defenses or resistances. I took super reflexes for the defense powers that we have, the defense capabilities. So to start off with, we have your beam rifle, and we have a lot of these are going to be different kind of shots, but there are some unique aspects to beam rifle that makes it really kind of entertaining. The first attack you have is a single shot, which I did not take. Single shot does moderate energy damage. Also knocks down foes and has a special power, which we'll get into a little bit later. The first one I have taken is charged shot, high damage energy, foe knockdown. Next is cutting beam, which is a cone attack. It does moderate energy damage to a lot of enemies, and it's kind of shoots a beam across, and it like cuts through them and stuff. Next is Disintegrate. Is use high damage over time energy, and this is our kind of a special power that we're going to get into, which is really kind of cool, and it makes the set a lot of fun and kind of creative the way to play it. Then we have Aim, which is aim. Then we have Lancet Shot. Lancet Shot has superior damage, energy damage, and it also does a stun. Refractor Beam is a chain attack. A lot of times you'll have a chain powers with electrical attacks. This is a chain attack as well. It does moderate energy damage. The one I just recently got is Piercing Beam, which does narrow range cone, high damage energy. It also does negative resistance to enemies. And then finally, which I haven't gotten yet, which we'll get at level 32, is Overcharge. Is range targeted AoE, extreme energy damage, foe minor damage over time, and minus defense to all your enemies, and also disorients. Now, this all sounds great, and you shoot your beams, and it sounds terrific, and that's kind of fun and whatever. But here's the thing: this Disintegrate weapon is that power is really kind of the key to the set. When you hit someone with Disintegrate, first of all, you're going to see like the word Disintegrate show up in orange letters over their heads so everyone can see what you're doing. But when you do that for the next 9 or 10 seconds while Disintegrate is kind of on that enemy, any of these other attacks you do will do other damage and or have other effects on that enemy and possibly on other enemies as well. So it's like a multiplier. Not quite, more like an additive type thing, but it's really kind of cool. So for instance, if you hit someone with Disintegrate, and then while they're under the Disintegrate spell or they're under the effect of the Disintegrate, and you shoot single shot, you're going to get negative 75% regeneration on the enemies, and there's a chance of spreading Disintegrate to other enemies that are standing nearby the guy you shot Disintegrate on in the first place. So it actually spreads the word Disintegrate to other people, and then they fall into the spell as well. Charge Shot, if you hit them after you use a Disintegrate, will do some more energy damage to them, and also has a chance to spread Disintegrate to other enemies. So once they start getting this Disintegrate on other enemies, you start doing more damage and more effect damage. Cutting Beam, if someone's actually has under Disintegrate, does more energy damage. If you hit Disintegrate again, it doesn't do anything. There's no effect on itself. Lancet Shot does more energy damage and a chance to spread the Disintegrate to other nearby enemies. Refractor Beam does more energy damage. Piercing Beam does more energy damage. And then Overcharge, I've got this written down, so I got to read this. 100% chance of a Mag 3 stun. And then it does a longer time of being stunned. So you'll be stunned for a lot longer than they would have been otherwise. Now, this stuff works really well. So a lot of times you'll be playing the game and you'll hit Disintegrate, and then you'll use one of your other attacks, and suddenly you see the word Disintegrate popping up over like 4 or 5 guys' heads. And then when you hit them with your regular powers, they do a lot more damage. A lot more damage. It really adds up. It's really, really well. So I've really, really enjoyed this. Now, the one downside to doing this, this beam rifle, is that all the attacks have long recharge times. So let's see if we can see that is. So, like this, let's see. Charge Shot. Oh, I don't have that on there. I don't have any recharge on it. They're a little bit long. So a lot of times you'll be waiting for one of the powers to come back out. I've got my Charge Shot here, and a Lancer Shot, and then Piercing Beam, and then Refractor Beam, and then Cutting Beam, and I've got Disintegrate down here where I can never lose track of it. And so sometimes you'll be waiting for another power to come up. That was especially tough before I got Piercing Beam. I was a little short on attacks. It's like, oh, hurry up, come on, you know. But when it's ready to go, these attacks do some really good damage, which is nice. I don't think it does as much damage as blasters do. And I know that the range on these beam powers is shorter than on blasters. But on the plus side, you have the secondary, which is all your defenses and or resistances. So we can go over those right now. So I've taken Super Reflexes. One of my first level 50 character in live game was a martial arts Super Reflexes Scrapper. And martial arts took up a lot of endurance. That was a tough one to play, but Super Reflexes is pretty cool. And they've made a few changes here that make Super Reflexes even better. So, and the big difference here is right here is Master Brawler. Let me show you here. So here's my Super Reflexes powers I've taken so far. Here's Master Brawler. Master Brawler will go ahead and gives you some boost your health and your absorption, but it also, if you take let me back up a little bit. You have 10 powers available in Super Reflexes, not 9. Master Brawler and Practice Brawler are the 4th power that you can take, and you have to choose one or the other. If you choose one, the other one is no longer available. Practice Brawler, which is the standard for a long time in Super Reflexes, was a click power. You would click on that when you needed to have defense from being knocked down or stunned or confused and all that kind of stuff. So you'd click on, and sometimes you better click on it quick, or someone would stun you, and then it's like, oh no, I got stunned. What am I going to do? That kind of thing. So it's kind of a pain in the neck having that. With Master Brawler, if you take this, you get this absorption, and what it does is it takes all those other things and puts them elsewhere, like in focus fighting and focus senses. So it takes the things you used to have to click on and puts them automatically on your other powers. Let's see if we can see that here. Yeah, so we now have hold protection, immobilize protection, stun protection, sleep protection, knockback protection, confuse protection, all on focused fighting. Whereas before, if we had Practice Brawler, we'd have to click on Practice Brawler to get this to come up, and then after a while it would wear off and it'd go away again. So now we have that all of that on focus fighting. And then we also have knockback resistance on there. There's something that goes on to the other one, focus senses, I think. Yeah, so defense resistance we have some on from focus senses. I think there's something else in there too. I can't remember. But so Master Brawler I think is always the better choice than Practice Brawler, unless you really, really, really want to just go ahead and click on your knockdown resistance and that kind of thing. I would always just take Master Brawler because it's auto. It's just ready to go. So focus fighting is gives us defense to melee attacks, and also resistance to confuse and defense debuff, like what we saw before. Focus senses gives us defense to ranged, and also these other attacks and damages from enemies that Practice Brawler used to give us. So again, you can see up here, ranged defense and melee defense and AoE defense. Super Reflex is really good for, we've gone over this before, where you have all your kind of different kinds of defenses. So we have positional defenses, which is ranged, melee, and AoE, and then you have type defenses, which is smashing and lethal and fire and cold and energy and negative energy and psionic and toxic. Super Reflex is focused in on the positional defenses, range, melee, and AoE. And so that's a little bit easier to max out. So the deal with this is you have toggles, and you also have auto. So for instance, focus fighting is your toggle for melee, and dodge is your auto defense for melee. So between the two of them, you get a lot of melee defense. Focus senses is your ranged defense toggle, and agile is your auto defense toggle. So between those two, we got 27% right now. Let's see. Evasion is going to be your, in this case, one and only defense against AoE. They took the toggle and the what used to be one of these used to be a auto for AoE, and they combined it into one because they gave us another new power, which we're going to get into in a minute. I guess we'll get into it now. So enduring is this other power. This is an auto power. It gives you plus recovery, plus defense to psionic, resistance to debuff defense, and resistance to damage. So it's really good power. Let's see here. What we've got here. So right now I've got a defense in here, and I've got an endurance modification in here. It helps out with stamina, with my endurance. And let's see here. For that particular power, I am going to be also putting in, I'm going to keep alternating between defense and endurance modification. And let me show you what this looks like here. So recovery rate, we have our base of 1.67. Stamina, which is 2 slotted right now, got 0.68. And enduring, which is 1 slotted, is 0.66. 1 slotted is almost even to 2 slotted stamina. So that's fantastic. And this thing really, really helps out. This has been a big help, so I don't really run out of stamina much at all, unless I'm really like shooting a lot of stuff. So enduring is a fantastic power. That is why we only have kind of a one thing for AoE damage. Evasion is kind of they boosted up this a little bit over what it would have been otherwise. So we lost our auto AoE, but I think we got it back in spades with the extra overall defense and endurance modification. Quickness is what I'm going to take at my next power at level 28. We get boost to recharge and boost to speed. So and it's auto power, so it's really good. That's a 1 slot power, and then you're ready to go. And then the one power that I'm going to skip here is Elude. Elude is a button you click on, and it makes you, for like a 2-minute period, you know, your defenses go through the roof, and your super speed and your super recovery. And on my martial arts super reflexes guy, I would hit that whenever I was going to fight a big boss, and man, he would just be laying down the kicks and the hits and everything. It was fantastic. But then after the 2 minutes, it just drains out and you lose everything. You don't really need that now. I think because we have invention, origin, enhancement sets and everything, we can kind of make up for that, the defense that we're getting from this, without having to put up with the consequences of using it. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that one. So that is the 2 power sets. Now for this particular character, I've taken Hover, because again, as a range attack guy, he just has some defenses, not much resistance. So I'm going to go ahead and float overhead and do some stuff. And I'm going to put this on hold for a minute because I have a phone call. So hang on just a minute. Well, it was a waste of time junk mail call. So let's get back to it. I do like to hover over enemies when I'm using a range attack character. If I'm not going to be doing melee, I want to be out of the damage zone. So I use hover. I'm also using maneuvers to help out with my defenses some more. I'm going to be slotting that up soon. And let's see, I have not taken a travel power yet, which is very unusual for me because I feel I feel naked without my travel power. But I am going to be taking super jump eventually on this character, so I can leap around and stuff. I could take fly, but anyway. In the meantime, I've got this jetpack that I got from someplace or other. I think I got it from the mission. It's good for another 49 minutes. So I'm taking super jump at level 30, so only 4 more levels I'll be getting it. I'm also going to be taking the fighting pool, kick, tough, and weave. Again, tough will give me a little bit of damage resistance, but primarily for weave to get me some more defense, because I do want to try and get this character all the way up to max defenses, which, as we discussed in previous episodes, 45%. If you can get that pretty consistent, then they can only hit enemies are only going to hit you 5% of the time. That's pretty good. So that's what I'm shooting for here. So that is the power sets. So let's see if we can go on a mission and see how these things work. So I will be right back when we get a little radio mission. All right, I had a hot-footed over here. I'm using this ninja run, which it works, but I do like to get a little height sometimes. So we're going to fight some Arachnos. Get the Oxygen Destroyer. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on Disintegrate. I got my these two on. I've got maneuvers on. To disintegrate over their head. There we go. She's done. Disintegrate on this guy. He's dead. I want to see if I can get a case where we can see it do something. He's by himself, so we'll just go ahead and kill this guy. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Wow, he really took off. He's way over there. Man alive. All right. I'm sure he's coming back. Here he comes. Nope, he's running away. Wow. I really put the fear of God in that guy. All right, so let's see if I can get it to spread to this guy, too. I'm going to shoot her. No, it didn't spread that time. Oh, there it goes. Here's the cutting beam, looks like. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't a cutting beam. That's piercing beam. Okay, disintegrate. There we go. Oh, disintegration spread. See it spread to this guy. So he's got disintegrate on him. And now, when you hit someone that's under disintegrate, the word disintegrate comes up there again when it does all the bonus damage to him. Here's that guy. Okay. Let's start off with disintegrate on this guy and see if it'll spread. We use this power. Maybe a little far off. A little too far away. He's vulnerable. So you get extra damage off of that guy too. Let's do Disintegrate on this guy. Disintegrate does some decent damage over time as well. But the key to it is using that with the other powers. Let's see if I can spread this to two guys. I'm going to use Cutting Beam. Cutting is just disintegrated. All right. So Cutting Beam is a great power to use on when you're in a team. So there's a big group of enemies. We haven't done this one yet, so I want to show the Refractor Beam as well. So as a solo, we're primarily using these powers here. I usually keep my solo powers together and then my AoEs over here as well. All right, let's see what we can do with this guy. We're going to Disintegrate for sure on this guy. Nice. Oops. Weird. Now we're getting some orange dudes here. If you notice when you look down, my powers are a little slow to recharge. So I think this is a good character to try and to use Hasten on. So I have no powers right now to use. Oh, still got a sliver of health. There we go. Some people swear by Hasten. They put Hasten on everything. I always forget to use it. So it's like, oh yeah, I forget to use Hasten. But this character, just to keep things sped up. I may also do some global recharge things as well, just so these powers will come back up a little faster. Because that is the one shortcoming. But yeah, there has to be shortcomings to all these power sets. You can't have something that's just so 100% better than everything else that everyone uses. That's not good. Oh, I missed. Now the piercing beam that I've used it several times now, it's not doing much damage yet, and the reason for that is I just got it. So I just have, one accuracy in it. That's it. There's nothing else in here. So this is actually going to be my most powerful attack, single target attack. Well, maybe the overcharge is. I'm not sure, but this thing is a very powerful attack. But again, I just don't have it slotted up yet. Okay, we got her on Disintegrate. Nice. I want to find a group so I can show these. I showed the Cutting Beam. I want to show this Refractor Beam too, which that's the chain power. I don't want to waste it. Ooh, miss. Yeah, so even with just one accuracy thing in there, it's pretty damaging. Yeah, waiting. Okay, the damage over time got him. Okay, let's see if we can take care of this orange dude. The range is not huge on these powers, which of course you could adjust with investment enhancements, which I think I'm planning on doing. I hit it. Yep. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm planning on putting on possibly some range. There's another elevator. Excuse me. See if there's anything down this hallway. Oh, wow. There's a lot down this hallway. Oh, boy. Okay, let's try and get her out of the picture first. Okay. Oh boy, they slowed down my attacks. Oh, there's another one. Wow, my health is really messed up. Those Fortunatas do some massive damage. Okay, let's get her. There we go. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to show the refractor and see how this chains out to the enemy. See that? So I got both of them. When you have that little thing underneath it, that vulnerability thing, I'm not quite sure. I know that makes them easier. I think it makes it easier to hit, or they do some more damage. I'm not quite sure on that, to be honest. But I know it's always a good thing to see that under their feet, especially if it's a high-level enemy. Disintegrate. So these guys are pretty simple here. Now this particular character, I'm actually thinking about boosting up to a little higher level, which I generally do not do with ranged characters. Because I am getting some really nice results. I can't really describe it, but shooting this beam rifle is very smooth. I don't know how to put it any other way. It just feels very smooth, very like, yeah, okay. I mean, the sounds are pretty cool too, but it just feels smooth to fire the weapon, which is it's kind of nice. So when you're playing a character for hours on end, it's nice to have very smooth, kind of relaxing kind of attacks, which is really very pleasant. All right, let's see here. I've done some team missions, of course, with this character, and it's a very, very good team-oriented character to play as well. In that case, what you're doing, you're spending a lot more time on the cutting beam and on the refractor beam to get started off. You're disintegrating and doing all the single target attacks on the main bad guy, and because I'm floating over, hovering overhead, it's very convenient to knock out the. So you're doing the AOE stuff, but you're also taking out the main boss, because this beam rifle is pretty powerful. I'm going to hit the refractor because I need to do some damage to this guy. He's still alive. There we go. All right, let's kill this dude too. Let's see how far that refractor thing will go to this guy. No, it's too far away. And I missed too. So that, yeah, it doesn't help when you miss. Yeah, if you shoot the refractor beam at someone and that the beam itself kills that enemy, it's not going to bounce to anyone else. It has to bounce off of a live enemy. So again, you can see it's a little slow on the recharge on all the attacks. Alrighty, so that is Beam Rifle Super Reflexes. I really enjoyed this character. He's going pretty. Again, I I set him up just to see what it's like to play. I said, well, I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep the character or not. I like the costume. It's that old timey science fiction thing I like. So I'll give it a shot and see what it's like. But I find it, very pleasant, very relaxing. Let's see if I've got my badges here. Oh, I'm falling way behind on my badges. Okay, so I may jump onto that positron too. So anyway, until next time, this is Greg 29407, along with Jupiter Joe, saying arrivederci, and we will see you next time.